So about 8 months ago, I posted a video about how I became a DevOps engineer with no CS degree. And honestly, the response from you guys was amazing. There were a ton of comments about what sort of study material you should look at and what sort of resources are available. So today I just wanted to make a quick video about the top 5 skills you need as a DevOps engineer to be successful. Let's get into it. Alright, so counting down from number 5, it's going to be Git or source control. As a DevOps engineer, you're going to be working with developers and setting up their project repositories. So it's very important that you're comfortable with working with Git. You need to know the basics as far as being able to clone a repo, being able to commit and push your code changes to a repo. Also just being able to configure repo settings based on the developer's needs, as well as being able to revert changes that may have inadvertently been pushed to a repo. All right guys, coming in at number 4 is going to be scripting language experience. Now, I would recommend Python as it's a very powerful scripting language. And basically, as a DevOps engineer, we want to be able to automate tasks. We want to become more agile in our processes. So a scripting language will allow us to do some things like automating some of those repetitive tasks like moving files and folders around, or building projects, or deleting unnecessary files or logs that are created, and just allow us to increase our agility throughout all of our processes. All right guys, and coming in at number 3 is going to be creating CI/CD pipelines. That's continuous integration or continuous delivery pipelines. This is a core foundational skill as a DevOps engineer. Basically, you're going to be creating some automated pipeline processes to where when a developer submits code, we basically want to be able to take that new code and build the project, perform some unit tests, some security scans to ensure that the developer's new code hasn't broken anything on the mainline branch before we actually integrate it in. Some popular tools for creating CI/CD pipelines are Jenkins, GitLab, and Bitbucket. So I encourage you guys to get familiar with some of these applications or projects and test them out, because they are going to be very foundational for your development as a DevOps engineer. All right, and coming in at number 2 is going to be Docker and Kubernetes. Containerization is extremely important in today's age, especially in terms of web applications and being able to quickly deploy web applications. So I would encourage you guys to look into Docker and how to write Docker files, how to build these images, and how to deploy those images to private registries. Also, Kubernetes in terms of container orchestration, very important as far as deploying web application projects, especially applications that have a ton of microservices that need to communicate with one another, whether that's like a database backend communicating with a front end. Containers allow us to really become more agile in moving those resources around and deploying them to different environments. And speaking of environments, the number 1 skill that you need to have as a DevOps engineer is working with cloud environments. So you guys are probably familiar or heard of AWS, GKE, or Azure. I recommend personally looking at AWS, as about 80% of the open positions in the US at least are looking for AWS experience. So I would highly recommend you look into that. You guys need to be able to set up identity access management permissions, so being able to create users and groups, being able to configure roles and policies, so role-based access control. I would also encourage you guys to become familiar with the Kubernetes services that are available in these cloud platforms, as well as the container registries, S3 buckets for storing data as well. There's literally a ton of services that are available on these cloud platforms, and it's almost impossible to get familiar with all of them. But like I said, I would get familiar with at least those basic services at first. because they are going to be pretty core and foundational to your development as a DevOps engineer. All right, so hopefully this list will have helped guide you guys in the right direction if you're looking to become a successful DevOps engineer. If you want me to expand upon some of the topics I discussed in today's video, just leave a comment below. Also, feel free to suggest any other subjects that you guys might be interested in learning, whether it's about software engineering or specifically to DevOps or cloud engineering. I'm happy to answer those questions as well. Hopefully this video helped you guys out and you learned something. If you did, I would appreciate a thumbs up. I'd also like to continue making these videos, so if you want me to continue doing that, please subscribe as well, and I'll be able to provide new content for you guys, new videos for you guys to check out. But I appreciate your time, and I'll see you next time. Peace.